What's up everyone, Jason Turley here. Today we'll be looking at the Investigating Windows room from TryHackMe.com. Now, TryHackMe.com is a gamified cybersecurity learning platform. So what does that mean? They make learning cybersecurity and hacking fun. There's different rooms and challenges that have puzzles that you have to solve, and you level up, you get points, you get scores, you get prizes for doing it certain days in a row. The vast majority of their content is completely free, accessible to anyone. There's not even anything you have to download. You can do it all within your web browser. Just navigate to the website. And then they do have a handful of challenges that are paid only. They're locked behind a paywall. Another great advantage of being a paid subscriber is that the machines will load up quicker. So with that out of the way, let's dive into this challenge. This is a challenge I solved about a year ago, and I wrote about it in my blog. So if you'd rather read that instead of watch the video, the link will be in the description. Be sure to check that out. First, click on Start Machine. That's going to load up this room. And another cool feature you have is you don't need your own virtual machine. You can just start the attack box. All right, while that's loading, this would be a great time for you guys to like and subscribe. We're asked to connect to the machine using RDP, and here's the credentials. I'm just going to be solving it in the browser, so it's going to handle the login for me. But if you're using like a Linux virtual machine and the VPN, you can connect using our desktop or X-Free RDP with the username and password, and then whatever IP address pops up here. All right, we get some questions to help guide our investigation. The format of the questions are pretty simple. They're one-line questions. So what's the version and year of the Windows machine? And then there's a text box that we would put in our answer. And we can look at the asterisk to get a hint of how long the word is or how many words are in there. All right, so our machine loaded up here. I'm gonna select no to this question. All right, a terminal pops up, ctemp.p.exe, and it's trying to connect to an IP address, 10.34, and it went away. Interesting. So that was odd. That's not normal. Windows doesn't usually just boot up and try to connect to some foreign IP address. So let's open up a command prompt and start playing around, digging in, seeing what's going on. Right click and let's run this as administrator or run as admin. Just because some commands might not work as a regular user, let's do it as admin. Oh, now this pops up, mim.exe. It doesn't really seem to be doing anything. I'm just going to leave that there. The question asks, what's the version and year of the Windows machine? Well, from our command prompt, we can see that this is a Windows 10. But let's run some commands. Let's figure out what this version is. WinVer, hit enter, and we get this pop-up box, Windows Server 2016, and then the build version and whatnot. So let's type in Windows Server 2016. Does it like that? Yeah. Another way we could find that info is just system info. That's going to load a bunch of stuff in the background. That spits out a bunch of junk. Let's scroll. And we can see it here. The OS name, Microsoft Windows Server 2016 Data Center. We see the OS version. This is a server, meaning it's not a user workstation. It's something that people are meant to connect to. Amazon is the registered owner or organization. You can keep going. You can see it's an x64 based computer. All right, we kind of knew that. The different patches that have been applied. It has one network interface card, and this is the IP address. Cool. Let's go to the next question. Which user logged in last? All right, Windows loves logging everything. So all failed and successful login attempts are usually stored in the Windows event log. So let's click on our search menu, our search bar, and do event viewer. Wow, that's a lot of lag. All right, open this. All right, Windows logs and security. The security event log stores information such as log on and log off attempts. Okay, we can see the event logs here. Audit success, so someone logged in. There's a lot popped up. Let's just scroll through. We know the last user who logged in was us because we are the admin. But what event happened before today? Let's scroll down. A little too far. Okay, the last login happened here. Let's see which one of these. There we go. Event ID 4647. We see the account name is administrator. They're the last ones who logged in. So all the ones with 1130, that's today's date, November 30th. So that's me. And these for 129 correspond to the admin who logged in before. So type administrator. And we're good to go. All right, this keeps popping up. So this machine is definitely hacked. That's definitely not normal interaction, right, with a Windows computer. When did John log on to the system last? All right, let's do net user to see what users are on the system. There's administrator, that's who we're logged in as. There's Jenny, and then there's John. So net user John. This command will give us more information about good old John. All right, their full name is just John. They have no last name. Their parents must hate them. Okay, country code, password last set. Here, last log on. The last log on was March 2nd, 2019 at this time. So let's just paste that in here. Bam. All right, what IP does the system connect to when it first starts? We saw that temporarily. I think it was 10.34.3.2. Might be 100% wrong. Is there any way we can see that again? So if you remember at the beginning, a command prompt popped up and it was trying to connect to an IP address. I don't remember the exact IP, but I do remember the file path that it was stored in. It was ctemp. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff here. There's d.text, there's mime.out, mime.exe. There's a lot of stuff that's not normally in this ctemp folder. Schedule tasks backdoor, that's a PowerShell script. So there's a lot we can dig in here. Remember p.exe was the command that was executed? Let's just run that. Oh, so it's psexec, which is a sysinternals tool. All right, let's see what else is in this directory one more time. All right, let's navigate to it in our file explorer. Let's open up some of this stuff, see what's going on. Is there anything in here we could use? Anything in here we care about? A bunch of directory listings. Don't really care about that. I'm going to minimize it. Mime.out. Okay, this is Mimikatz, a password cracking tool for Windows. Or rather, it dumps passwords, right? You can just grab passwords from Windows. My secret pass. Okay, good password. No, nothing interesting. Let's look at schedule tasks backdoor. Let's open this up. Okay, let's open this. Is there any hard-coded IP address? We see a bunch of examples, commented out. None of this does anything. These are just comments. Let's make this easier to read. No, so far I'm not seeing that hard-coded IP address that we saw earlier. And this keeps popping up. Interesting. We see a variable for IP import, but I don't see the value. Okay, let's come back to this. Sys. All right, this is info about the box we're on. We saw this earlier. Minimize that. All right, let's skip this one for now. We'll come back later. What two accounts have administrative privileges other than the admin? Well, we saw before with NetUser that there's only two other accounts, Jenny and John. But just to confirm, we can do net local group. And this shows all the groups on the system. So there's an administrators group. Spelled that wrong. There we go. We get Jenny and guest. Cool. So that's interesting because the guest account, typically you can log in with no password. They're just a guest. So for the guest to have admin rights, that's pretty bad. No wonder this machine was hacked. Let's do guest and Jenny. Do they want a space? No, they don't like that. Is it Jenny and guest? There we go. The next question is, what's the name of the scheduled task that is malicious? So let's investigate the scheduled tasks. I can do that with the sch tasks command. Let's do /? to get more documentation on this command. So I can create a task, I can delete a task, or I can query. I can display information about it. Let's look at the help for that. Okay. I can specify the IP address, a username, a password, a format to output it in. I like the list format. And let's do verbose, display more information. Hit the up arrow, V for verbose, and FO for list. Hit enter, and whoa, that's a lot of output. That's too much for me to really want to look through. So let me hit the up arrow to rerun that, but redirect it to a file with the right arrow. Some people call this the gator or the greater than. And then the name of the path. Store it on my desktop and just name it schedule tasks.txt. Hit enter, and you see that it popped up here on my desktop. Open that up, make it full screen. So we see that mim.exe that keeps popping up. So perhaps that is a scheduled task. We can see there's different fields, right? There's the folder that it's stored in. There's the host name of the machine that we're on. There's the next time it should run, whether it's enabled or disabled, the start time. But the most important one is this, the task to run. It says what to do. What am I running at this given time? So this is just a PowerShell script to initialize this instance. This is probably safe. But let's Control F and see if we can find that mim.exe file. Is that a scheduled task? And it is. And it looks like, when does it run? It last ran at 11:47. Okay. It runs as admin. And it looks like it runs about every 5 minutes. If it last ran at 11:47 and it'll run again at 5:20. And it stores the logon passwords to o.txt. Okay, that's interesting. And the name of this task is game over. As we can see from the stars, that's not enough. We want something longer. Let's Control F again. Is this anywhere else? No. Okay. What about the p.exe? Oh, there it goes. It pops up again. p.exe, is that anywhere in here? No. All right, let's scroll back to the top to refresh our search. What else? We saw there was a netcat file, netcat PowerShell script. Is that present anywhere? Yeah, it is. So here's the full command. It starts netcat and then it listens on port 1348. And this is the name of it, clean file system. Clean file system. Go down. What time was the task trying to run daily? Or I'm sorry, what file was it trying to run? So that's the netcat.ps1 script. Easy. What port did the file listen to? 1348. When did Jenny last log on? All right, so we know how to do this already. We did this with John earlier. Let me clear my screen. Net user Jenny will dump a bunch of info about her, and the last log on was never. She never logged into the system. Next, it asks, at what date did the compromise take place? Let's go back to our scheduled task. The start date was March 2nd, 2019. We saw that earlier as well for the last time John logged in. So that was just a popular date. A lot was going on then. That's our answer. Let me run this. And let's see if it actually works, if it actually starts this backdoor. Paste it in. Pasted it too much. Smash enter. It just pops this up. Let me run it in PowerShell. That's that. Weird. Okay, we tried. Close out of that. Clear my screen. At what time did Windows first assign special privileges to a new logon? So we can go back to our Windows event log. And we can filter and search within here, but I'd rather use a command line tool. Windows event util. And we want to query a certain event. Let's query this. Let's see what options we have. Query the security event, and I want the format to be text. Now this is a lot, so I'm going to stop this with Control-C. And I'm going to rerun this and also redirect it to a file on my desktop. All right, that's going to take a bit to run. Let's open it up. And that's Control F for special privileges. We get one hit here, but let's see if there's any other dates before this one. Looking at the hint, we see it ends in 49.pm. So let's keep looking. Do any of these end in 49.pm? Okay, we found this one, the date of March 2nd, 2019, with 4:04:49 p.m. The next question asks us, what tool was used to get passwords? So we saw this a lot. We keep seeing mime.exe pop up. And we also found the folder mime.out. If I go back to the top of this, we see the name of the tool right here, Mimikatz. It's an open source tool to get passwords on Windows. Cool. What was the attacker's external control and command server's IP? Is that what's in the netstat output? There's this. No, it doesn't fit the number of asterisks and dots, so that's not their IP. Where else could their IP be stored? Let's look in the etc host file. Print that out. So if you've never seen the etc host file, it gives you a synopsis on what it is. This is just a sample file. It contains the mappings of IP addresses to host names. Each entry should be kept on an individual line. So for example, update.microsoft.com is at this IP address. If we were to go to VirusTotal in like a search engine like Google Chrome or Brave, it would resolve to this address. So let's keep looking down. Okay, they all resolve to localhost or to this IP. Nothing interesting so far. And then we see this. We see these for Google and www.google.com. Could this be it? So when someone tries to navigate to Google, it actually goes to this IP address, which could be a malicious IP address, or the command and control server that the attacker used. Let's type that in, see if that works. Bam. We can try to prove this. Ping google.com. And we see that it tries to ping this address. If I open up Internet Explorer, the best web browser, google.com, hit enter. I don't think this machine is actually connected to the internet, so this won't work. I'm just curious if we can see what IP address it's trying. Let's Control-C out of that. If I can get my terminal back. There we go. Netstat. Okay, so this isn't the 172 whatever IP address. It looked like it tried, perhaps, in a legit Google. But we get the point. When I ping it, it resolves to that IP address that we saw in the NC host file. But when I try to do it on Internet Explorer, it looks like it actually tries this different IP address. The since sent is just saying it tried to reach out, but never got a response back. Let's clear the screen, keep it nice and neat. Next question, what was the extension name of the shell uploaded via the server's website? They're referring to the machine I'm on. This is the web server. If you're familiar with Apache or Linux, the web server is usually stored in var, www, and then like HTML, something like that. For Windows, we can look at dir c/inetpub. And we see www root. Let's see what's in that directory. We get b.jsp, shell.gif, and test.jsp. Let's open those up in Notepad. b.jsp. Oh, I need to provide the actual path. There we go. Okay, this is very ugly to read. Let's do the same thing for tests. Okay, this is a little bit cleaner. We see the cmd command, so I guess it's opening up a command prompt. And it prints out the disr variable, so it reads a line and prints it out. Not entirely sure what this is doing. Maybe some type of shell. There's a shell.gif file. But anyway, we know the answer is .jsp. What was the last port the attacker opened? Let's check out the hint for this. We just get firewall, all right? So that's as clear as day. Let's just open up the Windows firewall. Let's do this with the GUI. Let's check out the inbound rules. These are rules coming into the machine, right? So any packet that comes to this host, to the server, it'll first be checked by this rule list on the firewall. Let me make this bigger. We see different fields. We see the name and the group. Scrolling over, we see what profile it applies to. Windows has 3 profiles for this firewall: the public, domain, and private. Whether or not it's enabled, the action, you either allow or deny. Keep going. The local and remote address, we see the protocol and local port. So we see 1337 leet. So this is like a meme. So that's not like a legit port that a service listens on. And the name of this, I think I can just double click. The name, allow outside connections for development. Ooh, that's not good. We don't want just anyone to be able to connect. So the answer is leet. The last question, check for DNS poisoning. What site was targeted? We saw that earlier. We saw that it was just google.com. So we only have one question left. What IP does the system connect to when it first starts? Alright, so I didn't remember what exactly that pop-up had. I said 1034.3.2, but it looks like that is incorrect. The keyword here is when the system first starts. So in Windows, there's a few ways to get a program to start automatically on logon. And a way to view that is with this command, wimic startup list. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I know it's not super easy to read. Maybe I can full screen this bad boy. There we go. Now it takes up the whole screen and it's easier to read. So this command, wimic startup list, it enumerates all the common startup locations and it looks for any program or file that runs automatically. And we can see right here, p.exe, connect to this IP address, and then run this command, net user, and store it in this file. The location for this was the run key. I can also just registry query and copy and paste this. Hit enter, and we see the same thing. So I have my numbers flopped, my third and fourth octet. So just swap these two, and then that's your answer. Just for fun, let's see if this file was actually ever created. No, there's no O or O2 file. There's some scans that are empty. Schedule task backdoor. All right, so let's fix this, and that's all the questions answered. Hit enter, and we get some cute confetti raining down, and congratulations. We can share this on social media if we so choose. But I'm gonna end it there. So that's how I did it, folks. That's my way of investigating this hacked Windows machine. Let me know in the comments below if you learned anything cool or if you found a better way to do any of these challenges. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, take it easy and see you guys in the next video.